So we are going live on a Friday.
Friday the 13th.
Oh, spooky, spooky,
Don't be
spooky. Friday the
scared. Don't be
13th.
scared.
Oh
And it's
no.
one of those rare occasions where it is a Friday 13th in March too, as well. I think there's back to back, or late in February, there's back to back February 13th. Very rare.
What does that have to do with anything? March or February?
Anything. I'm just saying that it happens. Like, we usually don't get a Friday the 13th often,
Right.
but they're coming in like
Oh, month
sequential.
after month. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I thought that was had something to do with the movies, like
No.
Jason was born on March.
It's funny, that's what we think about, though. That's all we think about when we think about Friday the 13th.
Yeah. I was like, okay, there should be a scary movie every Friday the 13th. There should be like a horror show. I told my son, I was like, hey, you guys need to do fundraising. Why don't you do a haunted house at school? And he goes, but it's not October. I'm like, so what?
Yeah, everyone loves be
Yeah,
scared.
everybody loves horror haunted houses. You don't have to wait for October.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, today is February the 13th, day before Valentine's Day. So the day of love, right after the day of horror. Ah!
There you go.
uh, SPX is up 0.5%. Rudd is up 1.5%. Rudd is volatile. It's up, it's up, it's
What
down,
is,
it's up, it's
yeah.
all around. Oil is flat, the dollar is flat, the Nasdaq is up 0.75, Dow is up 0.3, gold is up 2%. VIX is 19.4, so getting up there in the 20s. And Bitcoin is actually coming back up to 69 after getting to 65. And silver is still below 80. And gold is at about 5,055. So up $100 today. Very cool. Yeah. So market power winner today. Very happy. Yay.
Yep.
We had the double dip
Going.
presentation yesterday. So those of you who are in Market Power and didn't watch it, replays have gone out. I believe it's already in the members area, so you can watch that, see what's going on there. I actually put a trade on yesterday in the group. Um, they got a little scary.
Got a little Friday 13th
Yeah,
wish for
I got
you.
a little Friday 13 in advance.
Yeah.
Uh, but it worked out like it's
It played
supposed
out
to.
just as you explained it in the presentation. Just
Yeah,
like
it worked out better than I thought. At first I thought it was going to be like, oh, I got cocky, I put the trade on, and it's going to blow up right on the day of the presentation. But then no, it worked out perfectly. And we're like, oh, look, a perfect example for you guys. So
yeah.
that was cool. In hindsight, I might have taken the profits. Might have been better, but it still worked out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big profit taker when I see it.
Yes, yes,
Sure.
yes, yes. The one thing I did not mention, I forgot to mention, is that you are working on the back test of all the losing trades that we've had in 3 years.
Yeah.
And, um, I did that back test myself. And for me, it was like, okay, if we follow the rules and we weren't human beings, if we were, if we didn't get scared, and we follow the rules, then every trade would have won money. Every trade would have been up money, all seven of them. 'Cause we only had seven trades losing in 3 years, which is crazy. But
Yep.
if we had done and followed the rules of the adjustment process, we would have been making money on every single one of those trades, which was mind blowing to me. And then we had one of our members who asked me about it. So I told him to do it. He did it. He found the same conclusion. And now you're working on it and you're videotaping it so that we can actually put it in the members area and show people and be like, hey, look, this is exactly how you would do an adjustment. And this is how all of them would have worked. So they can actually go back and look at every single losing trade and see what should have been done. So I think that's going to be very helpful for people.
Yep. It's very interesting when you take yourself out of the equation and all the emotions that come with it and just stick
Yep.
to the rules and what the outcomes are. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Michael's got a comment. He goes, The Exorcist is the scariest movie ever.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anything like that.
Is that the original one, the
That's the one
60s
where the
one?
girl's head turns
The
around and
head,
she, like
yeah.
vomits or something. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I agree.
We went to Georgetown, which is in Washington, D.C. this summer because my kids, my boys, they went there for Model UN
Mhm.
camp or something like that. Um, and so, before the camp or during the camp, I don't remember, in the middle, we had a break for like 2 hours. The parents did. And so us and another family were just walking around and they're like, "Hey, you want to go see the Exorcist steps?" And we're like, okay, So they had it on the map. It was on the Apple map on their phone. We walked around, da 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 da. We found it's a series of stairs. It's like steps, and they go down like I think like 5 stories. Um, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, so what's the big deal? And they're like, oh, I don't know. It was in the movie. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen the movie.
Oh,
I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know what. Okay, you saw it? Have you seen the movie? You know what the Exorcist
I
steps
did,
are?
but it was so long ago, and I try to avoid those type of movies. Like
Y-
I'm not into them. Like anything
Yeah.
with like, that kind of thing. I'm like, I'm good. I'm
Mm.
more like I'll watch Friday the 13th or something like that, or
I don't like
even
those.
Halloween.
I don't.
Those
I
are
don't like.
like more my style.
I don't like the gore. The just the killer slashums. I don't really like those.
I don't like priests that are acting crazy and all sorts of weird stuff and Dracula and all that kind of stuff. I'm good.
Well, I don't know, Michael. Maybe you could tell me what the Exorcist steps are. But we went and we walked up and down them, so we got a little.
Yeah,
I got my workout in. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, they were pretty steep, and there were a lot of them. So it's probably like a scene where somebody gets thrown down the steps or something.
you're gonna have to watch it and then go back.
Oh man, don't do that to me. There's a show. It used to be on CBS. I think it's on Paramount now called Evil. Where it was like supernatural. It's a priest, a guy who is a scientist, and he's actually a Muslim scientist, and the Catholic priest, and a lady who used to be Catholic, but now she is an atheist. And the three of them get together, and they're hired as a team to go investigate possessions. That's their job. So
Mhm.
they go in and look at all the cases that the church gets about, hey, we need an exorcism. So they have to go in and figure it out if it's real or if it's actual possession, and then they do the exorcism. That was scary. That show was. I watched the whole thing. That thing was scary. Uh,
Yep,
so
I will be seeing that. So I'll take your word for it.
yeah. Oh man. So speaking of scary, um, I read something this morning that kind of scared me. And I know
Mhm.
we've talked about it. I know we've thought about it, but I don't think we're ready for it. So I'm going to let me pull that up. And it was an interview given by Mustafa Suleiman, which is the Microsoft AI CEO. So he's the CEO of Microsoft AI. They own part of OpenAI. So I'm sure this guy is pretty connected with everybody, and they're doing the Copilot and all that stuff. And so he says that human level performance will be reached by AI, and that most tasks in white collar jobs will be automated within the next 12 to 18 months. So basically, he goes on to say, like, hey, anything that's done by sitting at a computer will be able to be automated within 12 to 18 months. And that includes everybody: lawyers, accountants, marketers, writers. Writers are already like outgone. Right? I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
um, but it's just anything you can think of that's sitting there done at a computer. Um, we have 18 months, according to this guy. Now, he's not the only one. Um, you know, uh, and so let's see who else is there. There's uh who else? Oh, so there's another guy, Stuart Russell. He's a scientist who wrote books on this. He was saying that all the politicians interview him to find out, hey, what's going on? What are we doing? And they're thinking, the politicians are thinking, the government is thinking that they're looking at 80% unemployment.
Right.
And so everything from surgeons to CEOs can be replaced by robotics or AI. The founder of Anthropic, he has said previously that AI is going to wipe out, half of every entry level AI job or white collar job, sorry, very soon. So half of the jobs will be gone, and the other half, the people will be using the AI to do the work. And
Right.
so, companies are going to getting smaller, and jobs will be scarcer.
I don't think anyone's ready for that because it's hard to conceptualize, right? So,
Yes, and that's why this guy made this comment. That's why the Microsoft AI CEO, he said that because he's like, people are not ready, and we need to spread the word that this is coming, and it's coming faster than anyone thinks. It's going to be scarier than anyone expects. And nobody has ever, I mean, we've never gone through anything like this before.
right. I think there was some, I forget, I wish I didn't need to look back, but someone said that it is even worse than COVID as far as unemployment, which would be
Possibly,
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah. Um,
Uh, you know, and so we had, I guess the closest thing might have been like the Industrial Revolution, where everybody gave up the farming and then moved to the city so that they could work in a factory because farming just didn't pay enough and there was too many, dust storms and all this other stuff. But even that took years, you know, just to get to
right.
the city.
Right. The speed is that's completely different what we're talking about. I mean,
Exactly.
18 months, 18 months.
Yeah. And it's not like you can go and get another job in a factory or in another profession,
Wow.
right? You have to completely relearn everything. And
Right.
who's going to pay you a high salary if you don't know anything about the job or have no experience at it?
Yeah, I think the best thing you could do is learn the skills along the way here. You know, whatever you're doing to help you assist with whatever job you're doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're doing anything now and you're not using AI, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's really a quite scary scenario just from the job, but think about the typical person out there has got a mortgage, car loans. I mean, they need their job to make the economy run. So
to pay the
where,
bills.
yeah, where is this going to go?
Yep. We've been talking about this K-shaped economy where the rich are getting richer and the poor are struggling. Credit card bills or delinquencies are going up. Mortgage foreclosures are going up. Car loan repossessions are going up. And then now we have this thing coming. So could you see a recession? Oh, heck yeah. Could we see a deep, serious recession, depression? Most could be.
Right?
And it's coming and nobody's ready. I mean, I don't know anybody who's ready. Even these guys, these
No,
scientific
how would you
futurist
prepare for
guys.
it? You're asking someone to, prepare for a
Yeah,
calamity, right?
exactly.
I don't be a doomer, but that's pretty serious. Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I don't even know how to tell our students or our members or anybody, like, how do you
Yeah.
prepare for this? Like, do you go buy gold? Do you stock up on cash? Do you sell everything and just wait around? I don't know.
I kind of have a theory of that's why we see so much ups and downs recently. Um, just my theory, right? Of the market. Like one day it's like all the way up, all the way down. Gold, you've seen gold and silver move in ways we never seen before. All these things are happening. It's like, and I think it's sending a lot of confusion out there.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
for investors, the old way of doing things is obviously being challenged.
mm-hmm. Yep. The one thing you've always heard is that real estate always goes up.
Yeah. Well,
right? And then, we had the housing market crash and real estate went down, but then it went back up again. So it was like temporary and it was like a bubble. Everybody's like, yeah, yeah, that was a bubble, but over the long term, you look at it's going up. I don't know anymore, right?
no, and I always ask myself, like, why do we need to invest in housing as a savings account? Like, there's something fundamentally wrong with that in my mind. Like, we treat our house like a bank account. I
Yeah, a lot of people do.
mean,
It's
yeah, and you're like, why does that need to be? There's something really wrong with that in my mind.
uh, yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody. Some people say pay it off, some people say no, don't pay it off because I mean, I'm in the camp that you never really own it, right? You get sick, let's say, I
Right, you're
get
always paying taxes on it, you
yeah,
or you
if you
whatever.
don't
Yeah.
pay, they take it anyway. So
I
it's
mean,
like
you pay
it's
it
never
off,
yours.
you're still paying property taxes.
Yeah.
It's never
But
yours.
the thing is like, okay, let's say I go right now and I get I take out all the cash I can, right? And then AI comes and I get laid off. Okay, now I have all the cash in my hand. I can live off of that and do whatever I want, right? And if I have to sell the house, I can sell the house, or if I can need to walk away from the house. If things get really bad and I need to walk away from the house, I don't have that much equity left and I can walk away, right? Now, on the other hand, let's say I have a paid off house or I've, very low on the mortgage, and then I get laid off. Can I get a loan? No, because I don't have a job.
Right.
I got all that equity there, and then I put my house up for sale. That's the only way to get the money out. And if the market and the economy is going down,
You're selling at
nobody
a
has jobs,
bad point, yeah.
and nobody's going to buy my house. Unless some rich guy comes and says, "Oh, I'll pay you, 20 cents on the dollar for your house," and I'll have to sell it because I have no other choice. So to me, the better thing is to borrow as much as you can,
And
and
it's very, yeah, possibly. I think about putting your money into hard assets, which is really happening across the world. I mean, if you think about it,
hard assets as in metal or as in like something
anything that
else.
can't be debased or touched or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do.
You put your
I don't
money.
know if I would do gems like jewelry, diamonds. I don't know if
No,
I
no,
would.
I'm
I don't
saying
know.
like that.
I would do that.
But I also like housing because you're always going to need housing, right? But can you survive this period, which we don't know? There is another question.
Yeah. And then the other thing, I mean, we mentioned, I think you mentioned it right before we got on, that Peter Diamandis fellow, and in his last book, "The Future is Faster Than You Think," he was making the case that real estate prices will go down in the future because transportation will be so much faster, and we'll be using
Hmm.
technology like Zoom, for example. I mean, who would have thought, 10 years ago that me and you would be having a show on YouTube live? I'd be sitting in Houston and you're sitting in Florida, right?
Florida. Yeah,
Um,
it's
and the last time you were sitting in Mississippi and then you're in Florida. Then, we get to bring in somebody else from halfway around the world, from China. And it's like 10,
we
20
can't
years
envision these things. We can't envision them, right?
No, 20 years ago, that was what they showed at Epcot Center. Like, oh, this is the future,
You're
And
like, come on, get out of here.
here we are, and it's working. And so like he was saying that, they're gonna have this type of technology, it's gonna only get better and better, and then you'll actually have like an avatar, like a computer avatar, where it'll be a robot in the office and you turn it on and your consciousness or your thing, your brain or whatever, your connection is inside the robot. And you're walking around the office as if it's you. You can see everybody, you can talk to everybody there, but you're at home sitting on your couch.
Yeah.
And that technology is also coming. So then you don't have to live in the city. You don't have to live anywhere close to the job. You could go live in the boonies where it's super cheap, and then all the property values are going to go down because nobody wants to be in downtown anymore because it's too crowded and too noisy and too much crime and all that stuff. So,
He, I lived enough years, right, where I will say that I'm open-minded enough to be like, these are very smart people in a room, and I have to be open-minded that yes, this is a possibility, right?
It is. Yeah.
Um, as opposed to be like, no, that's just impossible. We used to think like, okay, who would buy on the internet? Who would purchase like clothes or anything on the internet? That's crazy, and that's all we do now. So it's like, yeah, you have to be open-minded to the change that is happening. These are very
Yeah.
smart people that are in the room, so I
No,
have no reason to
yeah,
doubt them.
to
Yeah,
me, to me, I don't like to buy clothes or shoes or anything on the internet because I want to try it on. But my wife, she
right.
got no problem. Every day we have 10 packages showing up on Amazon, and every day she'll keep like two of them, and the other eight are going back. And I'm like, dude, you're wasting so much
Yeah.
time. But she goes, no, I'm not wasting time. If I like it, I buy it and then I ship it back. It's better than going to the mall. It's better than spending time, parking and walking around and going to store. And she goes, that's a waste of time. This is so much easier for me. And I'm like, I don't get it, but okay.
I mean, the same thing with food delivery, right? It's like, you know, it would take us where we live about a half an hour, 45 minutes to go all the way over to Panama City to get like food from the big box stores. We're in a small town, so it's like you can get a delivery service for, a small charge, and then I don't have to waste all those hours of going over there. So that is a value in how change happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Michael's saying that he bought one of those food kits with food that lasts for 25 years.
Ah,
That's how he's going to handle the AI takeover. But he only bought a 3 month
hey.
supply. So after 3 months, he's going to be out hunting. He's going to get his rifle out and he's going to start hunting after 3 months because the food's run out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting. But we're already at record high levels of debt in the government.
Yeah,
And, you know,
we're buying our own debt. So
so,
it's interesting. But
and,
Peter Diamandis, to go back to him, he did a really it's interesting. He does a very like a kind of like a little game with his son.
mhm,
So any city that he's in or where his son's with him or whatever, and they're traveling, he picks each time to see how many Waymos are there. How many Waymos can they count? And each time they do this little experiment, it goes up in numbers. So now he's seeing like 12 times on a trip or 12 Waymos on a trip. And then it's like 14 and it's like 16. So all this stuff is just exponentially moving,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, you have to go to the cities where they are, but
Sure. Right. But that's the sign of things to come, right? Of
yeah.
course.
I mean, here where I am, there are none, right? They're not here yet. They're not here. But when we went to San Francisco last year, we stayed, near the Fisherman's Wharf, the tourist area. I mean, we saw hundreds.
Wow, really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah. The garage was near us. So they would have
Oh,
to come out of the
okay.
garage and they were
Yeah.
always going back to the garage. But even on the street, they were literally everywhere,
Have
everywhere.
you ever been in one?
No, we did not. They were
No.
they only let you go with four people. Um, and we had five. So we got three kids. So I did not.
Okay.
And then you had to download their app, and I'm like, I'm not doing all that. So we just
Down the road.
walked. We walked everywhere. We took a couple Ubers, but the big ones, the minivans. But yeah, and I don't, we I that's one thing I was watching because I have not seen a self-driving car before by itself. And I was like watching them and like, how close do they get to the curb? And, do they run over the people crossing the street? I was
Like
like, I don't know.
I would be willing to try it, but I'm like, don't go over any bridges or anything like that.
I would not
Just
put
stay
my
in the
kids in
city.
it.
Yeah, I know.
I like that's the thing. Like, Dad, you can't go by yourself. We're coming too. I'm like, no, you're not allowed. Like, no, they wouldn't have let me go on by myself. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay. But they have them in Austin here, near in Texas, and they've been there for a while. So okay. So I have a question for you. Now
Sure.
that we're talking about AI and self-driving and whatnot. So uh today the stocks of truckers, all the big trucks, JB Hunt and um,
Old Dominion. No, that's
Old
it.
Dominion, yeah, Old
Yeah, Old Dominion.
Dominion,
Yeah.
and some others, they all drop significantly,
Hmm.
10, 15, 20%. Now the question is, okay, why? Why did these stocks drop? Right. And it's a game that we always play like, oh, I bought this stock and it's down today. I wonder why. And we go online, we try to figure it out. And there's this news story and that news story. So there's two news stories that we're trying to explain why this happened. So I want you to, I'll give you both, and then you tell me which one you think is the real reason. Okay.
Okay.
So first news story was the one that was really pitched, which is, hey, these stocks are all down today because this other company is a AI trucking company, and they just made this announcement that they are going to be they're doing really well in terms of capacity. Where they were saying that every truck, 1 out of every 3 miles for a truck goes empty. It's like the truck is empty for one
Hmm.
third. And so this company does logistics better because they're using AI and tools. And so the companies are making more money and they have to go less miles. They have to drive less miles. So they need fewer drivers,
Okay.
right? And so they'll make more money with less trips. And so that's why the truckers went down, because the people that are shipping will not need the trucks as much because they're packing more into each truck. That was one story. The other story was that one of the politicians in Washington put together and pushed a bill or a law or something saying that, and it might not be on Washington, it might be in the the transportation agency, that truckers need to be US based. No foreign truckers will be allowed. They have to pass, stringent um, identity stuff. They have to pass testing and English proficiencies and all this stuff. So anybody who's not a US citizen or green card, you cannot be a truck driver. So those are the two things that happened today, the two news stories.
Hmm.
Which of those do you think led to the massive decline in the trucking stocks today?
So my mind kind of goes between both, obviously, but I think it would be more from the political aim, right? Any laws that would come a result of this is why they would go down, as opposed to,
I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you. The AI story, yeah, that's nice and cool and funny and all, but
right? It sounds all like sexy and whoa, but
yeah, it's sexy, right? That's why they
that's
led
what
with
would
it. They're
really
like,
move it.
oh, the AI team did this and that, and they won't need trucks as much. Yeah, okay, fine. But
Mhm.
that's not going to lead to a 20% drop in the stocks. But if
Right.
they lose half of their truckers, yeah, they
Yes.
ain't making they ain't
Yeah.
making no money, baby.
That's right. That's right.
So, they kind of buried the lead on that one. And that's what happens a lot in the news media. It's like we have multiple stories and try to figure out, okay, why is this stock moving? And we don't know because they don't give you all the information. And then you have to like piece it together. Was it this? Was it this? Was it this? Like, you're thinking like an investor or a mutual fund or a hedge fund that owns this stuff, and it's like, okay, if this thing passes, which it probably will, something will happen because of number one, the administration is leading that way, and then there's been a lot of accidents with foreign-born guys, and like, oh, the truck driver didn't even know
Way,
English.
way more far-reaching, right? And
Yeah.
it's can be rapid.
Hmm. Definitely. And so I think that would be more immediate. The AI thing, yes, is coming, but it's not going to affect every single trucking company overnight. This thing
Correct. Exactly.
definitely could. And so it's like, all right,
I
I
thought you were
see
doing a
it.
little trickery on me. I was like, okay, I have to think about this a little bit. Yeah.
No, I mean, you could have said both.
Yeah, no, I agree though. That's
But
how I think.
I don't think it's both. I think it's the
Yeah.
trucker thing. Yeah. Um, But I mean, that's how that's the game we play, right? We got to figure out why
Mhm.
and whatnot. Because yeah, if you had sold put spreads or naked puts, you're sitting on a
Yeah.
big loss on this sucker today, and out of nowhere, it just comes out of nowhere. Um,
And you have to think about the time frames you're in, right? And when these things happen, right? So it's like, okay, am I in a short-term trade? Am I in, a month-long trade? Am I in several months-long trade? That's all has to factor into what you're thinking,
hmm
for
Yep.
sure.
And we take a look at the different sectors. Like you have software, which is down a lot. You have AI, which is down, not a lot. Some of them are down a lot.
Mhm.
You have banks, which are going up. The metals and all the miners, those are going higher. Oil companies are doing really well. But on the flip side, you have other things that are also dropping. And so right now, I think we're in an environment where we don't know tomorrow which industry is going to be hit. And
Right.
so it might be more beneficial, it's just smarter to be in indexing than trying to pick trades on individual companies.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
Mhm.
like, hey, you know what? I want to do a spread. I'll do a spread on, say, SPX, and I will do more money, more capital instead of doing two trades on a tech company and something else,
Well, yeah, you can
like two
absorb
stocks.
those moves. They do happen most likely, right?
Yeah,
If you're in an index.
right. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna like it's time to have more capital in smaller batches, like less diversification, more capital
Mhm.
allocation to indexing and indexes and trades for your index versus let's spread out the risk and be in different sectors. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, but
Right.
not you individually with your trades. Put it all in the index or put a lot more than you normally would in the index, like the Dow, the Nasdaq, whatever. They're not doing much right now,
Mhm.
but that's okay, right?
That works for us.
Because yeah, it
Yeah.
works. It works great for us. Because you know, I never thought some of the trades that I put on were going to get hit as bad as they did. All of a sudden, like, oh my god, like what did
Yeah, it's
no
just like, you
nobody could
trade on the
expect.
next day, you're like, what just happened, right? And that's going on for everybody.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think markets are changing. I think yeah, but going back to the top of the story, right? It's I started thinking, like I read the thing and I'm like, am I going to be replaced by AI? Like, how does this impact trading? You know,
Yeah, I know.
already 80% of Wall Street trades are done high frequency and by algorithms and robots. I already, but is our traders still going to be there? I think they
Right.
are. I think that will be there because people will need something to do, right? I think it'll be an outlet for people. Um, it might not be, there might be a lot more like, we talked last time about, oh, there's that company coming out with an ETF for AI
Right.
trade,
Yeah.
right? Run by
Yeah.
AI. Okay, we might get more of that stuff. But I still think that individuals will still be trading the options. Options markets are still getting bigger and bigger, and I think they'll continue to get bigger. And I
I
think,
think humans have at a certain level, they want to have control over their decisions, right? You want to have your decisions play into the markets, not
yeah,
just like, oh, click a button and this will do it, right?
yeah.
So it's,
Well,
there's
there's
that.
two types of people when it comes to this. There's the person that says, yes, I want to be in control of my money, and I wanna know what it's doing, and I want to be educated about it. And then there's the person who's like, yeah, no, I don't want to be bothered with that. I'm too busy, and I'll just give it to somebody and let them manage it.
Right.
And I don't know. I think part of that is the way they were taught. They've been taught
Yeah,
that. So
culture puts us that way,
it's
right? It
like
pushes
it's
us
like,
in that
oh, it's too
direction.
complicated,
Yeah,
you just
I'm too busy. I don't know how to do it. I'm not smart enough to do it. All those reasons. Be like,
hmm
here, just take care of it, right? And then I don't have to have responsibility for it. I can be like, oh, you messed up with my money, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
accountability in my mind is like a huge piece.
That is big. Yeah. And most people don't want that accountability.
No, they don't.
They would love to blame somebody else. And that was the one thing I told you that was in that book, the Atlas Shrugged, like all the time in that story, as things in the world were getting worse and worse, nobody wanted to take accountability because if anything went wrong, they would be blamed for it.
Right.
So everybody, like, as soon as something went wrong, it's not my fault. That was like the first thing out of their mind. I can't do anything about it. It's not my fault. It's
Yeah.
not, and it's like, it's
The
their
ship's
fault.
going down. I didn't, I'm
Yeah.
not responsible.
Even though it's going to affect you,
Yeah.
you're just like, well, it's not my fault, so it's okay. It's like, no, it's not. You're still going to be affected. You know,
Yeah.
just because you have somebody to blame,
And this is global. I mean, this is going to affect the whole world. I mean,
massive, massive.
yeah. I mean, what a time to be alive. And I don't want to be in the state of mind of being fearful of it. It's like I want to embrace it, right? Because there could be wonderful things that this does, right? So
True.
I
But
don't
I
want to
do.
be on the side of just being, okay, this is happening and this is awful, right? So
No, I don't think.
what bad comes around, the good comes with it, of course.
Yeah,
So
I think the
there,
long run it's going to be better off for mankind, but I do think that it's going to come in waves.
mhm.
So, if within the next 12 to 18 months, let's say all the white collar jobs are removed, restricted, lessened, that's going to affect the Western world more than anybody else.
For sure.
You know, the bankers and the lawyers and the marketers and everything, everybody most people in the US have a white collar type job, knowledge workers, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And they
they
got
are
a
going
big
to,
mortgage attached to it. They had several car, who knows,
all
right?
that stuff. So,
Look
but
at the
it's
debt
going to,
picture.
it's going to go in like a wave because like China is more manufacturing based, right? So they're not going to be impacted by this type of AI. They will be impacted later on when the robots are there and manufacturing is done by something else. So I think it's going to come in a wave. Like first it'll impact the West, like in the US, Canada, Europe. Then it'll move over towards Asia and China. And then I don't know what's going to happen to Africa and South America, right? I don't know if robots can make drugs or transfer drugs or whatever. I don't know. They're probably, I mean, the cartels will probably use AI and robotics for something, but I don't know what those two continents will be doing. So I think that we're going to get hit first, and so that's going to impact everything militarily. It's going to impact the third world. It's going to impact Europe. What money gets spent? What is it spent on? Um, and so we might see, China take the lead and be in charge of, doing whatever they want to do, and we don't have the ability to stop them because we don't have the money, you know.
Yeah.
Or even I mean, Friday the 13th scenario, right? Everybody's out of a job. How did we get out of the Great Depression? You remember? World War II.
Yeah.
We
That's
went to
usually how
war.
things restructure it. Yeah.
Yes. And so if everybody's out of a job, you need to lessen the population. So let's go do something stupid. Let's get rid of a lot of people and spend a lot of money, and that might help the economy. I don't know. Uh,
It's always
so,
good in my mind to go back to watch the videos from like Ray Dalio, right? And how things move.
mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And so that stuff, that's like separate stuff. That was coming anyway.
Hmm.
This might push it to the forefront. You
Absolutely.
know, if this is coming down the pipe, and we're right in this scenario where yes, the U.S. will be infected first, and then China will be affected, you might see the U.S. poke China and hit first. We don't know.
Right. Yeah, we don't know.
It's like,
I do
okay,
know it's
hey,
going to be most likely messy.
uh, yeah,
Yeah,
very
unfortunately.
messy. And so, I've always looked at it, be like, okay, what's around me? What's a good nuclear target? It's like, okay, Houston, the oil infrastructure, yeah, that's the port, over
It's
here.
important to think of that, but in a measured way, but not like I don't think anyone should over. react, right?
I
It's
mean,
rarely the right move.
I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm living, and
I'm
that's
glad
why,
you.
like, I'm like, okay, how far am I from downtown Houston? You know, how far am I from the port? I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the blast radius of a nuclear bomb? Are we far enough away? You
Probably
know,
not.
I I don't know. I mean, we're in the suburbs, so hopefully, you know. But when I was in grade school, we read this book called Alas, Babylon.
Mm,
And it was a scenario where there was a World War III and the nuclear bombs, and they were living in Florida at the time. I think you should read that book. It's a kid's book, but
yeah,
I
I
think you
probably
should read it.
should.
And the people survived only because they were not living in a metropolitan area. But Tampa, Miami, Orlando, all these places were just blown up because they were hit by nuclear bombs. And then it was a situation of, okay, the survival of the fittest type. They lost power, they lost electricity. And so people with diabetes started dying
Right.
because insulin has to be refrigerated
Hmm.
at that time. I don't know if it is now. I don't know. I don't know about
Yeah,
insulin,
I wouldn't be able to tell
but
you.
at that time, insulin had to be refrigerated, and so people with diabetes started dying, and then people who got sick there started dying, and it was just a whole,
Yeah.
apocalypse type story. But
But we
uh,
take that story and you put it now. I mean, the technology has changed, right? That may not even matter, right?
maybe, but I still think in a nuclear situation, in my mind, that's still stuck. Like, hey, don't, be far away from the blast zone. I guess
Yeah.
growing up in the 80s, with Terminator and the Cold War and all that, maybe
Yeah.
that's still stuck in my head.
Did
Today's
you ever see
kids
the movie War Games?
probably, I don't remember it though.
That's a crazy one to watch. That's what
Was that the
Matthew.
fake one? Matthew Broderick,
Yes,
right? It was
yes,
fake,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Thermonuclear war. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
insane. Yeah.
So, um, but it's so uh, you know, it's all, and that's not even talking about, oh, we're gonna go to, Skynet. Like we're gonna go fight Skynet. That's that's
Yeah.
later on. So, but in terms of, I guess, the stock market, we could see a lot of people,
Hmm.
a lot of people.
So, what would, in your mind, would be some of the markers? It's interesting to talk about.
Obviously, the unemployment rate going
Yeah,
up.
in a
What
very meaningful way and quickly.
Yeah, and what technology is able to do. What are the AI tools that are able, what are they doing?
Hmm.
Because they make announcements all the time. So we kind of have to watch that. Coming back to thinking like, oh, hey, am I going to be replaced? I was thinking about it. I was like, one thing we're working on at OptionGenius is AI Allen, which is basically a little bot that knows everything I've ever said, every
Yeah.
video, every lesson, every post, every
Hmm.
every podcast. The AI knows all of it. And you could ask it a question and it'll probably answer better than I do because I'll have forgotten half the stuff that I've said.
Yeah.
And so that's one way to replace me. The second way, I've joined a class on how to make your own AI clone. So it's a visual representation of you, your voice, your appearance, and it can make videos for you. It can
Yeah.
do recordings for you. And it's very, very, very good
And getting better and better.
and getting better every day. So it'll,
There's
it'll
a
be,
guy, Glenn Beck, you probably know him. He actually has done what you were talking about. So he's fed everything he's ever known, all the podcast, all everything, and then it just spits it out like he's him, and
mhm.
it's real.
Yep, yep. So, I mean, could we replace? Yes, we could,
Yeah,
you know. And so it's good, a little scary, a little scary.
yeah. Oh. You could also be like, "What a time to be alive."
Yeah, I mean, we'll go live on the moon or something. We'll go mine on the moon. We'll mining whatchamacallits, rare earths on the moon to make
Rare
EVs.
Earth, be a rare earth miner.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. So we did have jobs number come out this morning. No, not jobs number. We had the CPI number,
Yeah.
and that was basically less than expected. So I think that's kind of what left us a little bit of a market rally today. Um, at least an up day. And so That's good for inflation. That inflation is kind of cooling, according to
Yep.
this number. And the Fed will probably not still not do anything, so it will not impact the Fed.
I
But
know it's so interesting because what's bad is good and good is bad, and it can throw people off sometimes
hmm
when you look
yeah,
at it. So,
but
but
the
it does come down to
economy,
those rates, right? They're gonna want to at some point they're gonna need to loosen them up, and I
yeah.
think it will happen.
And the thing about the jobs number on Wednesday, so we had a jobs number that came out, and they said that the jobs were better than expected, right? But they also revised the numbers from last year.
Yeah, I love when they do the revisions. It's like,
Yes, and they removed almost 900,000 jobs from last year.
yeah, just that's minor. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
it's like, oh yeah, sorry, we miscounted. Like that's
it.
a big deal.
Which instills such confidence.
Yeah. And so, yes, so we're not actually doing as well as we thought. There are more people laying off, being laid off, even though the numbers supposedly were good, they were really bad.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and s-
as we talk about this, I tend to obviously not really pay attention to those numbers as they are, right? I listen to them, right, of course, but I don't put great stock in them. And I would look to be, okay, like where is this going, right? And I would err on that number is going to get worse, obviously, over time.
mhm. Yeah. And that's just, big picture, stand back, look at what's going on. What are the catalysts? What's
Mhm.
occurring? What are the big things, the big picture? What's the big story? And that's the big story. I think it's all related. Um, you have uh, you have AI coming, you have gold going up, you have debt in all these countries. We talked about this before, like Jim Rogers, famous quantum fund co-founder. He said that the next time that we have a depression or a recession or whatnot, it's going to be very, very, very bad, much worse than the economic financial crash, because last time China bailed us out by buying our debt. But this time China has their own debt. At that time they had no debt. Now China has lots of debt, and China ain't buying our debt.
No, and they haven't been buying it for some time.
No. And so if there is a financial downturn, it's going to be much, much worse than the experts are expecting.
And that's why they always talk about they call it the big print because how do we remedy that? We just have to debase the dollar and print it our own, right? To cover those debts, which makes the problem worse. It gets worse.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, a lot of things could be interesting this time. I always remember watching, the movie The Big Short.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, at the end, it's like, oh, the banks bailed everyone out. The banks got bailed out, and you're like, the movie kind of ends, and you're like, okay, so we're not really out of this problem, right? It just didn't go away, right? So it's like it's the can gets kicked down the road, so to speak, and you know the problem
Yeah.
gets bigger, right? And then the end result, it has to be rectified somehow.
Those CDOs from the Big Short, the
Yeah,
collateralized debt obligations, those were done on mortgages, mortgage bonds.
yeah,
They have them on student loan bonds now. And they're back on mortgages, and they're
yeah.
also now on student loans, and they're on other things, and they just create more and more complicated stuff to sell and manufacture revenue.
That's right.
And you can tell what's happening in student loans. People are not paying them back.
No, they're not.
And so it's everything seems to be heading in the wrong direction. Even though there's good news,
I
right?
will remain positive because that's just who I am.
Well, it's Friday the 13th, so we're gonna
A little negative.
reach, 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 reach,
And then you got to flip
reach.
it tomorrow because it's Valentine's Day, so you
Yeah, well,
can't take
that's
too
on
long.
Saturday. That's on
Yeah,
Saturday.
well, tomorrow's Saturday.
All right, well then I'll just tell you I love you, Matt. There you
All
go.
right, appreciate that.
You're supposed to say it back.
I love you too, Alan. Oh, we lost him. Oh my God.
Oh, geez. All right. Okay, well, that's all we got for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
We officially lost out. Look at them.
Oh my God. All right, so markets are still okay. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week. But
Yes, we'll be here.
we'll take care. All right, everybody. Have a
All
good
right.
weekend. Happy
Happy
Valentine's
Valentine's Day.
Day. Happy Friday the 13th.
All right.